Please welcome up Tyler.
Brady, thank you very much. My name is Tyler Bell. I'm part of the Yahoo Geotechnologies team. At Yahoo, that particular team deals specifically with issues of user location, maps, and then something called geoinformatics, which is how we use geography to inform data and make it accessible without ever showing a map. And today's talk, I'm going to be focusing very much on the geoinformatics side, talking to you a little bit about what Yahoo means by open location. It's an initiative we've had inside the company for some time. And then I'll be announcing two new fun products that we have coming out. So I'll begin my talk just with a little bit of context. We're looking at the Web 1.0 was the nascent web of interlinked static documents. This is the web of blue links that we all grew up with. It's the one in which Yahoo got its start. This web still exists. It's still extremely valuable. But actually, the web that we're dealing with now is much richer. You don't need me to tell you that. It's richer because people are now in the mix. Very much the idea behind Web 2.0 is that it's become read-write. We're no longer reading information that has been laboriously uploaded onto a server. Now we are linking individuals together, exchanging topical information, exchanging real-time information. People are linked to people. People are linked to information. This is what's exciting. This is what is part of the reason that we're here today. And really, what I'm keen to do today is show you about how Yahoo is thinking of the next iteration. Now here I've got it called as WebX. It might be called Web Squared, Web 3. I'm sure we'll find some catchy moniker that we will all grow extremely weary of very quickly. But I'll just call it WebX right now. But the important thing is not what it's called, but what it is, of course. And our vision in the Geotechnologies group at Yahoo and our colleagues in mobile and really across the company is this idea of a web of the world. So what we are dealing with now is not so much a web of interlinked documents and then people talking to each other, but actually the web is now at a pivotal position where everything that we do as individuals on the web or as our companies engage therein and the content that we produce is relevant to location. And really, this is the most significant thing, is that so much of what we do now is relevant to where we are at a given time, where we want to be, or relates to places that are important to us. And so our vision of this next iteration of the internet is, it's like the GeoWeb. I mean, you've heard that term used many times over the last few years. And previously, the GeoWeb has focused on this idea of basically a deep data set of structured geodata, usually stored in GIS, but everything's geotagged and made available. Well, the web of the world is a little bit more open than that, because I would argue that we are not focusing, certainly at Yahoo, our concern is less on the actual underlying spatial representation of things and how you can show it on a map, but rather we are focused instead on creating open infrastructures that allow us and our developer communities to create a location-aware internet. And what I mean by that is this, is that so much of the content that we work with today, that you're probably doing right now on your computers, Blackberries and iPhones, you're either posting, you're tweeting, you're updating, you're commenting, and you can keep doing that. I'm not saying anything. That's not bad. That's a very good thing. But everything that you're doing now is, hey, I'm here at Where 2.0. I'm at a specific place talking about something that is happening at a given time. So much news, status updates, tweets, content, photo titles, ad titles and creatives, all of this information is location relevant, but in the current web it is not location accessible. And that is the problem that Yahoo is trying to solve. So this web of the world, the vision that we have is an internet in which everything that we do, which you wouldn't traditionally think as map data, But everything we do, all the content that we create on a regular basis and is created across the internet is made geo-relevant. And this is the exciting thing, because you've heard about the semantic web and the rise of entity recognition. I think you're going to see that, and maybe not all my colleagues would agree with me, but I think you're going to see the semantic web rise up first within the location space. And the reason is the semantic web is very good at identifying specific entities, but some people might be interested in particular cars, others might be interested in a type of kitchen utensil. What is ubiquitous? The most ubiquitous entity on the internet today is location. So everything that we do on a day-to-day basis is rooted firmly in physical space. And so I think the web of the world will be the first incarnation of really a semantic web where places are identified as places, not just points on a map, but actual conceptual entities in space. And that's what I'm keen to talk a little bit further about today. So the title of my talk is Innovation on Open Location. Really, when Yahoo talks about open location, we're talking about quite a range of things. I mean, open is always a loaded word. We realize that. So we try not to toss it out there casually. What we're referring to here is part of the YOS initiative, which is the Yahoo open standards, open services. We want to ensure that our open location push in the geotechnologies group and across the company deals with ownership and transparency. So it's open in that it's accessible. People know that what we are doing with their location data. When I say location data, I'm referring to your current location, but it could be in a place that you holiday and that you travel and you vacation. That is a location of interest, which is important to you, and it can enrich and enable your experience on the internet. Whether you're creating map entities, whether you're creating named places, whether you're assigning your user location and making that accessible under controlled terms elsewhere on the internet, Yahoo's keen to avoid what we call the Roach Motel mentality. Now, those of you who didn't grow up in the United States in the 70s and 80s, Roach Motel is a roach trap product where basically you put it down, roaches go in, and they don't come out. And indeed, that was their slogan, which is roaches check in, but they don't check out. So what we're trying to avoid throughout all of the platforms that we create under the Open Location Initiative is we're avoiding this Roach Motel mentality. We don't want locations to come into Yahoo and stay there. We want locations to come in and then immediately be made available not only off the Yahoo network, but on multiple applications, multiple networks, and multiple devices. Those of you in the audience who are familiar with FireEagle will be very familiar with this approach, where users have complete control how their user location is shared across the internet. Now, it's very well that I can get up here and talk about open location, but it is an ethos. It does describe, drive, and shape the products that we create. But the fun stuff really is the actual products that we create. So I'm going to shift off the actual talking about what we do and how we do it and actually showing you a lot of the end results. So the first thing I want to talk about is something called Geoplanet. In May last year, so 1 year ago, roughly this week, we launched something called Geoplanet, which is an XML API that allows developers to explore the world as we know it. But it's not a mapping API, but rather it's a geoinformatic API. And this is what I mean by that. It means that I can use Geoplanet to find out how a particular city is called in a specific language. I use Geoplanet to find out what's called the Where on Earth identifier, which is a unique and permanent identifier for all known named places across the globe. I can use that identifier, and then I can pass it to, say, upcoming or weather and learn more about that specific place. I can answer questions such as, what are the cities and towns that surround Mountain View, California? I can use Geoplanet to say, hey, return for me all of the postcodes that relate to a specific neighborhood within San Francisco. This is a global product. It's designed for geographic discovery. It's not just a multilingual gazetteer of places. Its real power is in the relationships that build together. So not only are places related in a parent and child relationship, So all of the counties are related in California are related to the state of California, which is related to the United States of America, which is related to North America, et cetera. And then you can go all down. So you can use Geoplanet to discover all of the cities within the United States, for example. You can do this without ever engaging a map. It also allows us to understand alternative place names, so that we deal with place names as monikers, basically appellations, just they're labels for a concept at Yahoo. So a single where on earth ID is the identifier for this concept, and labels such as NYC, New York City, and the Big Apple are all multiple labels for the same concept. And this is what Geoplanet contains. It contains these colloquial, casual, and very formal terms for known places on the planet. But they all resolve back to a single unique identifier. It's related in a vertical hierarchy as well as in a horizontal hierarchy. So if I'm developing an ad serving system and I'm looking for ads for BMW motorcycle dealers in Sunnyvale, I don't have any. I can query Geoplanet. It tells me these are the surrounding cities around Sunnyvale. Do we have ads for motorcycle dealers there? Yes, indeed we do. Here's Mountain View, and return it quite readily. So Geoplanet I'm highlighting today for two reasons. One is that it illustrates a slight twist on geography, at least in the way that Yahoo works with it and makes it available. But also, we want people to use Geoplanet. We want people to use where on earth identifiers. This is a significant resource that is only made more valuable by exposing it off network. A lot of you in the audience are developing APIs, or you have companies that don't want to rely on Yahoo as a web service. So today we're releasing something called Geoplanet Data. This is the multiple millions of named places, the unique identifiers, the where on earth IDs, and their relationship to other places, as well as all of their multilingual labels. All of this is packaged up in tab delineated files. It's now available on the Yahoo Developer Network. You can download this under Creative Commons license, and you can employ it within your own applications. That's very nice of you, thank you. So we're delighted to do this. We want to see everybody using it. I seem to have been blanked out. Lauren, can you throw me a bone? There we go, great. So that's a start. We want to make sure that everybody around the world calls places by the same thing. And this comes back to the whole idea of innovation. When I talk about innovation, I'm not up here to tell you that Yahoo is doing incredibly innovative things. Actually, I am. But the important thing about innovation in this case is that we want to do a lot of the legwork. We want to do the hard work that allows you as developers and small businesses to innovate on top of the basic technologies, on top of the basic data. Why do we need to go reinventing the wheel? So here's the second part. It's something called Placemaker. I've talked about this idea of the deep web and the deep geo web. Our product now is attempting to really reach what I think is the deep geo web, which is all of that information about place and relevant to place that is location relevant but not geographically discoverable. So Placemaker as a concept is dead easy. It's an XML API for developers. Developers take an atomic unit of content, could be a caption from a photo, it could be a tweet, it could really be anything that you're creating. You pass it to Placemaker. Placemaker plugs and chugs. It identifies the places that are contained within the document, where they're located within the document, how many times a place is referenced. It's extracted in a structured format and then returned to the user. So this Placemaker is an enabling technology that allows you as a developer community, you as a small business, to geo-enable your unstructured content. Again, maps and structured information, visualization plays a huge part in our shared future and our shared vision of the GeoWeb. But something that has been neglected is all of this unstructured content which deals with place but does not contain a coordinate pair. So we are helping with that. And this is really how it works. This is for the people in the audience that really dig animations. So you've got a chunk of text. It could be that you might be a publisher, you might be a developer, you might be creating a hyper-local aggregated resource. You take that data feed, that stream, that unit of content, you chuck it into Placemaker. Placemaker plugs and chugs, and it grinds out all of the places that are referenced therein. We tell you how many times it's found. We give you the where on earth identifier, of course. We tell you where in the document it was found. One of the issues about Placemaker, one of the questions I get is, what about semantics? What about semantics? And the answer is that we want to give you all the information so that you can build the semantics on top. We will tell you about place, but you need to decide which places are the most important to geotag and georeference against. So it's all focused on geo-enrichment of unstructured content across the internet. It's freely available. We have no formal rate limits. When I say formal, I mean if you start pushing a couple thousand queries per second towards the system, you'll bump up against our informal rate limits very quickly. It's global, multilingual. EFIG's languages are English, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. We focus on that, but there's about 21 languages, including multi-byte character sets for Asian languages. And we give you all of the information about the places referenced within that document. So, wrapping up, this is what the location-aware internet is about. That web of documents is still highly important. Placemaker helps you geo-reference those documents. The web of people is still vital. FireEagle helps you locate your users. So what we're developing here is an infrastructure of geo-referenced content and geo-referenced users. And together, in addition to a lot of the technologies we've been hearing about today, we will together, I think only through a very open and accessible manner, we will attain this final outcome of a web of the world. So my name is Tyler Bell. I'm with the Geotechnologies Group. We have a booth, and we'll be happy to talk about this further. Thank you very much.